Good afternoon. We are on the record in the 13th Judicial District Court of Butler County, Kansas. This is a docket that's kind of made up of bench trials, motions, and other hearings. Looks like the only attorney on the docket is Darren Patterson, who must be tied up somewhere else right now.
Your Honor, I just spoke to him on the phone, and he is on his way here. He's meeting in person with his client at the building, and I said that if he wasn't logged in at 1:30, I'd let you know. But he's here. He's just speaking with her.
Understood. There he is, in fact. Speak up. All right. Well, is there any particular order we need to take these up? Is there a court service officer that needs to get out of here? A trooper, an officer? Any recommendations or suggestions?
Your Honor, I am here on the motion to revoke probation on Robert Lozano.
All right. Mr. Patterson, where'd you go? Are we ready on Robert Lozano?
Judge, I think we need to make a roll call first to see if Robert Lozano is here.
All right. Robert Lozano. How about Ryan Christopher Brand? Are you here? Ryan Christopher Brand, yes. You're here.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you're pro se, you don't have an attorney?
No, I do not.
Sharice Jamal. Ms. Jamal, if you would unmute. Click on that little red microphone with the line through it, if you're on your telephone. If you don't see it, run your finger down the side of the bottom of your telephone screen. And
got it. I got it, Your Honor.
All right. You're wanting a bench trial and you're pro se, you don't have an attorney, is that right?
I do not have an attorney. And
you are set for bench trial. You want a bench trial, right?
What's a bench trial?
A trial to me that you want to plead not guilty and set it for trial. We're set for trial today. Are you still wanting your trial?
Is there a possibility of a continuance?
There might be. We'll come back to that.
All right.
I'm not saying there is, but there might be. Priscilla Laura. Is Priscilla Laura here?
I have Priscilla Laura here at the courthouse, Your Honor, and I also have Sydney Leslie here at the courthouse, and her attorney is Mr. Peterson, who is on his way.
Oh, Peterson. I was saying, is it Peterson? I show a Peterson on Sydney Leslie, and I show Patterson on Robert Lozano.
I am on Robert Lozano, Your Honor.
Okay. So Sydney Leslie, is she here? She's with you. And attorney Peterson is on the way.
He actually just walked in right now, so I can get both of them in front of the camera if you would like.
Well, let me hold on. Mr. Peterson, I'd like to hear from.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Peterson, I have us down for motion hearing today. Is this the one where she's wanting a motion in limine to leave out the sovereign citizen language?
That is what we are scheduled for today. Mr. Storer and I have been in conversations, and we perhaps are going to resolve this matter altogether. So if you'd like to take up a couple other things, and I talk to my client for a few minutes, and then we'll jump back on and see what we can do.
Well, that would be fine.
Okay.
I'm just kind of trying to figure out where everybody is and what they want and don't want. And Lozano does want his hearing, warrant to show cause, right?
We need to see if we can locate him first, Judge.
If we can find him. Robert Lozano still not here? You don't have him court security?
I do not have him here, Your Honor.
All right. Well, let's see then. Go back through these a different way. Mr. Brand, you're set for bench trial. You want to go to trial? Click on that little red button.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No problem.
Yeah.
Let me go on the record. We are on the record in BU 2020-049, State of Kansas versus Ryan Christopher Brand. Please announce appearance of state.
May it please the court, Storer for the state.
And Mr. Brand appears in person, and pro se, you're still without an attorney, sir?
Yes, I spoke with two attorneys on the matter, and they both basically told me just to that I don't need their help on this for the type of matter it is. And I asked them again to help, but they said for what it is, it's, they think that I could talk with you and get it figured out. So that's my plan.
Okay, well, it looks like August 6th of 2025, you were here. You said you wanted to speak with an attorney. You could hire one, so we set it over to November 3rd of 25.
Yes.
On that date, you failed to appear. January 30th of 26, you called in and wanted to follow up on your active warrant from November. January 30th, you called again and advised to show up for court. You still wanted to retain an attorney. And you were referred to the sheriff's office for the warrant. They indicated they couldn't talk about active warrant, so they referred you to Lori Mann of the sheriff's office, the warrants officer. And then somehow you were back in front of Judge Hutchison on this docket and told her you wanted a bench trial, so she set it for today, July 8th, 2026. But July 6th, you called in and asked if you could appear by Zoom. You were told you could.
Yep.
All right, so here we are. Are you ready to go to trial? You said you wanted to talk to someone. The charge is, let me go back over your charge since it's been a while.
Okay.
You have count of operating a motor vehicle without registration or with expired tag. The state's alleging you committed this unclassified misdemeanor on February 6th, 2025. The fine could be as high as $2,500, although I've often seen it $50. The jail sentence could be 30 days to 6 months, but I've usually seen probation granted. So who are you wanting to talk to, sir?
Well, I guess here's the deal. It was on one of my work trailers that I forgot to put the sticker on the tag.
Well, we're not having the trial yet. Who are you wanting to talk to? I can only make determinations based on the evidence I hear. Are you wanting to talk to the guy that formally filed the case based on the officer's citation?
Well, I guess I'm just out of conjunction, Your Honor, that I really don't know what to do because I didn't think this was going to turn into this over not having a sticker on my tag. And I was just trying to make sure that it wasn't going to be a moving violation because I have a few moving violations because I travel coast to coast for work. And so I'm trying to talk to somebody to figure out what I can do just to make sure I will gladly pay the ticket. I just want to make sure that it's not a moving violation. And that's what I've been trying to do from day one. And I've never been able, and like I say, I've talked to two attorneys and one of them is a local one there from Butler, Mr. Watts, to, get some help with this, but I can't get anybody to help. And it's like, it just keeps spiraling out of control. And I want to do what's right, but I just don't feel like I should have a probation for, not having a sticker on one of my tags that I accidentally forgot to not put on.
Well, that's
Your Honor, could I have a breakout room with Mr. Brand really quick?
Sure. Okay, Destiny, could you please put Mr. Storr and Mr. Ryan Brand in a breakout room? Mr. Brand is the prosecutor. He's the one in charge of the case at this time.
Okay. Yep.
Representing the state.
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that the one you're here for, Master Trooper Grunder?
No, when they went into the breakout room, I was going to ask you because I didn't hear the name of the one I was here for.
Who are you here for, sir?
I'm here for Shanice Jordan.
She goes by Sharice Jamal on my docket, and she is here.
Okay.
No, I don't.
You
Hold
don't?
on. That ain't me.
Are you sure? Okay, well, is it
I'm
S-H-E? Hold
It's
on.
Shawnee's Jordan.
Yeah, that ain't
Is
me.
it S-H? I have, maybe you're the wrong person, but you sure spell Sharice the same. S-H-E-R-E-E-C-E. Is that the first name you had, Trooper?
No, the one I had stopped her spelling is S-H-A-U-N-I-S-E.
Okay, that is a different one then. She is not on my docket. Does anybody have her? Sharice Jordan?
I've
No,
got her
that-
on mine.
I do, ma'am.
You're a trooper also?
Yes.
So we have two troopers subpoenaed to be here today on a case that I don't have on my docket. Can you help us out, Mr. Prosecutor Cold Store?
Yes, Judge. So there's Shawnice Jordan, and that is, oh gosh, where's the case number?
Take 14 at the 120.
26 TR 621.
Clerk Destiny, do you see that on today's docket?
Just a moment, Your Honor. Not on today's. I see it on next Wednesday's bench trial docket. Today I have Sharice, and I think it's Jamal. It's 26 TR 616.
And Sharice Jamal is here, right?
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Okay.
Judge, we must have just put it in on the wrong date
Okay.
on our end.
So can I let the officers subpoenaed for today go?
Yes, please. And I apologize. I think that's Master Trooper Grunder.
And I think Trooper Jordan Zahn said he's on that also.
I think he's on. He's
I'm
on
for Sharice.
Sharice.
Oh, he's here for Sharice Jamal. But Grunder is here for the one that's set for next week.
Yes, Judge.
Well, I'm sure the way it works, we've called you in on a day off, and next week is probably a day off. What's next week?
Actually, I'm scheduled to work both, but Mr. Storer, could you get me a new subpoena? Because today's subpoena actually said today.
Yes. I apologize for that.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Master Trooper Grunder. You are excused. Jordan Zahn, it sounds like you're stuck here a while, though. Well, we probably better check, make sure the officers have cases going today. Trooper Clan, is it?
Land.
Land, C. Land. Okay. Which case are you here for? And you just muted yourself. Can you unmute?
Yep. I'm sorry. I'm here for Laura. Last name Laura.
Priscilla Laura, and did she tell me she was here? Yes.
She was here in the courthouse.
All right. Well, Mr. Storer, do you want to just...
135 135 8 northbound, the white Chevy Silverado with a stop.
We have Ryan Smith here as court services. We could take his up and get him back to his duties, although I think that's one that Mr. Patterson was going to talk to. Yeah.
Yes.
You're here on Lozano, Mr. Smith.
Yes, Your Honor. And as of the last roll call, he had not logged on to the docket, I don't believe.
Your Honor, he actually showed up here at the courthouse, and I informed Mr. Patterson that this is the only, I don't have a computer available for a breakout room, so I told Mr. Patterson Mr. Lozano was going to call his office. So they should be speaking, I would think.
All right. Well, Mr. Patterson's on the screen, but he's muted, so he could very well be in conference with his client at his office. Well, who's here as a witness in the Ryan Brand case?
Deputy Grimes, Your Honor.
Deputy Grimes, hello there. All right, let's take that up. Mr. Brand, you do want a trial, correct? Or did
Judge,
you...
I was going to try to do a breakout with him really quick.
Haven't had that breakout yet? Okay. All right, let's try again, Destiny, to put ACA Coal Store and Brand Ryan in a breakout. No, yes. Okay, he's representing himself. I was going to say, no, his attorney.
Now, Your Honor.
What's that? They both should have it now. Okay. Ooh. Mm-hmm.
And Your Honor, just for information, I just spoke with attorney Mr. Peterson, and he is ready on his case as well now. A plea ready.
Okay.
He has a plea ready.
And now I don't have a prosecutor.
Yeah.
And Sydney Leslie is here.
Sydney Leslie is here.
Okay. So we'll get a prosecutor back. We can at least knock one of these out. Destiny, when's my next jury trial? Is it August something?
It is, Your Honor. It's going to be August 3rd is the pretrial, and then August 5th starts the jury trial.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. All right, we are back.
Where'd he go?
He's still here. Let me see if I can get him back into the main room.
And Judge, just a heads up, he provided me proof of his tags being, and so the state was just going to plan on dismissing the charge.
The state was going to plan on, I'm sorry, I missed the last sentence.
The state's going to dismiss. He's provided proof of registration.
Okay. All right, we are on the record, back on the record in BU 2025 TR 1049, State of Kansas versus Ryan Christopher Brand. Assistant County Attorney Cole Storer appearing for the state. The defendant Cole or Ryan Brand in person and pro se. Mr. Storer, Mr. Brand, you filed a document that you're going to be continuing to waive your attorney and represent yourself. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and Mr. Storer, you said you've spoken with the defendant and you have an agreement or an arrangement or announcement?
Yes, Judge, the state is moving to dismiss the case. He's provided me proof of registration.
All right, and so you are going to dismiss this?
Yes, Judge.
Is that without or with prejudice?
Without.
Without. All right, now, Mr. Storer, or Mr. Brand, I'm sorry.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Brand, I want you to understand this charge is not like the insurance where the prosecutor has to dismiss it by statute, but he is elected to do that. He's dismissing it without prejudice. So let's say you go out and violate the law tomorrow, he can refile this. Do you understand that? During now and the statute of limitations. So make sure you're on your good behavior so that he doesn't come back and refile this.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you were kind of concerning me a while ago when you were saying you were kind of being dismissive of the law. Understand the legislature considers that little sticker to be proof of your annual registration for 1 year. That sticker is worth 1 year. And it's just as important as the tag that it be current itself, the metal plate.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. I don't make those laws. The officer doesn't make those laws. The people you elect and send to Topeka does that. But we're sure here to enforce them.
Yes, Your Honor. And I wasn't, and I apologize, I wasn't trying to be dismissive. I guess my point is that I forgot to put the sticker on, and I know 100% it was my fault that I did not put it on. But I guess what I was just saying is I was hoping that there was a way to, just get this all figured out without going through everything that I've went through. So I appreciate you guys' time very much.
Well, it sounds like you got through to the prosecutor and he's made that motion to dismiss, which is granted. So you may go at this time, Mr. Brand.
Right. Thank you. I appreciate it.
And the officer on the Brand case, who did you say you were? Which one?
Deputy Grimes.
Deputy Grimes. Do you have any other case here today?
No, ma'am.
All right, then thank you for coming in. You are excused at this time.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. I presume you were excusing your witness, Mr. Storer. I got a little ahead of you there. Did you want him to stay for any reason? Okay.
No, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Now they have Mr. Peterson ready on Sydney Taylor Leslie. Is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Everybody's talked with everybody that needs to. We'll be on the record then in BU 2025 CR 250, State of Kansas versus Sydney Taylor Leslie. Please announce appearances.
May it please the court, Cole Storer for the state.
May it please the court, Sydney Leslie appears by Zoom with counsel William Peterson also on Zoom.
All right, now Mr. Peterson, this one is interesting. It comes on for a motion in limine that I understand is the defendant requesting that her status, if any, as a sovereign citizen not be referred to.
Your Honor,
Yes,
pardon me
sir.
interruption. We can set that aside. As I mentioned earlier, Mr. Storr and I had some discussions this morning, and we've worked out a plea in this case to resolve the matter.
And you're wanting the court to entertain that plea at this time?
Yes, we would ask the court to take that plea and get
All
this
right.
taken care of.
Mr. Storer, would you want to tell me the conditions of that, or have Mr. Peterson, whichever?
I can do it.
Okay.
If I can get my computer to do what I want it to do. All right. So the offer would be to amend count 1 to 8-1503, which is requiring obedience to a lawful police order. It's an unclassified misdemeanor. The fine would be $100 plus court costs. It'd be a 30-day suspended jail sentence with 6 months of non-reporting probation. She would plead to count 2, no insurance, $300 mandatory minimum fine, 120 days jail suspended with 6 months of non-reporting probation and court costs. And then the state would move to dismiss counts 3 and 4. Counts concurrent.
Mr. Peterson, is that your understanding of the agreement?
Yes, Miss Leslie, we have reviewed that. She's prepared to plead no contest today, and those will be joint recommendations.
All right. So, Miss Leslie, you've heard us speaking about you and your case?
Correct, yes.
Now, you are set for trial today, and the witnesses have been subpoenaed and are here. No, I'm sorry, strike that. You're set for motion. I'm sorry. So, you had filed a motion that you didn't want any reference during your trial to...
Actually, Your Honor, that was actually the state's motion.
The state's withdrawing that motion, Your Honor.
Okay. Well, there is a motion to keep out the sovereign citizen status and so forth. And you understand that with your plea, that motion's off the table. We're not going to be talking about that?
Yes.
Okay. And in fact, you do have the right to a trial, but if you continue your no contest plea, there will be no trial. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
And your attorney says you want to plead to an amended charge and to count 2. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And you do that with the understanding that the remaining charges against you are to be dismissed.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So let's look at this amended count 1 that I understand is being amended to 8-1503. A lot of statutes in chapter 8, and I have it here. All right, KSA 8-1503, required obedience to a lawful order of police officer or fireman, reads that no person shall willfully fail or refuse to comply with any lawful order or direction of any police officer or fireman invested by law with authority to direct, control, or regulate traffic. So it stands to reason that you are now being accused in count 1 of on or about the 21st day of May 2025 in Butler County, Kansas, knowingly and unlawfully failing or refusing to comply with the lawful order or direction of police officer. It doesn't show me which officer. Which one would that be, Mr. Storr?
Judge, that would be Corporal Khalid Barake.
Okay. With that
Butler County Sheriff.
Of the Butler County Sheriff's Office, who had authority to direct, control, or regulate traffic, and you failed to follow that authority. Violation of this section is a misdemeanor. How do you plead to that amended charge, Miss Leslie?
No contest.
And then I understand you're also going to plead no contest to count 2, which alleges on that same day you did drive and failed to provide proof of insurance upon demand by the law enforcement officer. This is a Class B non-person misdemeanor. How do you plead to that?
No contest, Your Honor.
Is anyone making you enter these pleas of no contest today by any threats or promises other than your plea agreement?
No, ma'am.
You understand that with these pleas, you are giving up your right to the motion and the trial that would be set eventually.
Yes, ma'am.
And you will most likely, even though you're not admitting the charges, you'll most likely be found guilty and unable to understand that.
Yes, Your Honor.
And have you had time to talk to your attorney about these pleas?
Yes, I did.
And do you need any more time to visit with him before we proceed?
I do not.
All right. I will accept the defendant's no contest pleas to amended count 1 and count 2 as freely and voluntarily entered. Mr. Storr, have you a factual basis to support these pleas?
Yes, Judge. The factual basis would be that on or about May 21st of 2025, Ms. Leslie was pulled over by Corporal Khalid Barake. Sorry if I'm butchering that. For a tag violation. During that encounter, she was asked to step out of her vehicle and refused to do so. And then the facts would also be that she failed to have insurance on the vehicle at the time of the stop. And that it all occurred in Butler County.
On one of our highways or streets?
Yes, I'm sorry. I had it pulled up and then I lost it.
Okay.
I believe it was at 202 West Market Street in Andover, Kansas.
All right. I find the state has provided an adequate factual basis to the no contest pleas and amended count 1 and count 2. I find the defendant guilty of the same. On motion of the state for plea agreement, I dismiss count 3. No driver's license in possession. And count 4, failure to register a vehicle, an unclassified misdemeanor. At this time, we will proceed with sentencing, and I understand the recommendation on count 1 is a $100 fine and 30 days in jail. I will make that the order of the court. On count 2, a $300 fine and 120 days in jail. That will be the order of the court. These charges will run concurrently for the jail sentence. Now, Miss Leslie, do you want to go ahead and just serve that jail time, or do you want probation?
Probation, please.
All right. Well, if you don't want to serve the jail time, you better make sure you understand the conditions and the duration of that probation and not violate it. Because if you violate it, it can be revoked and you can serve your jail time. The probation will be for 6 months as recommended by the parties. It will be non-reporting, but you are still on probation for 6 months. And during the 6 months, if you violate the probation, again, it can be revoked and you can serve the jail time. The conditions are pretty straightforward, though. The first one is don't violate any laws during the 6-month period. Pay the total due, which includes the $100 fine on count 1, the $300 fine on count 2, and $108 in court costs. And your attorney is retained. You've hired your attorney, right? He's not appointed.
That is correct.
All right. So the total due is $508. Can you pay that today, or do you need some time?
I'll need 2 weeks.
I'll give you 30 days to get that paid because we need to get the journal entry on file. But 30 days to pay. Stop by the clerk's office on your way out today and she'll tell you how you can pay online or in person or by mail. And you've had your picture and prints taken in this case?
That is correct.
All right. Anything else, Mr. Storer, that we need to address?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
You're welcome. Mr. Peterson, anything else on this case?
I don't believe so, Your Honor, no.
All right. Then you and your client are excused from today's hearing. Also, the trooper that was called in today, are you here on anything else? By the officer, I'm sorry. Deputy. It was Deputy Zahn, wasn't it? No, wasn't it?
No, we're only supposed to have, we had a witness subpoenaed for that motion, but I called them off.
Okay, all right. Well,
it is the warrant that I had requested in December 9th of 2025.
Okay, I just want to make sure I'm going off the right thing. I'm still learning this program, so.
I show that on December 9th, 2025, a request for revocation of probation was filed. A bench warrant to show cause why probation should not be revoked was filed December 15th of 2025. A return on the arrest bench warrant was filed March 31st of 26. Bond made May 27th of 26. So in answer to your question, yes, it looks like it's the December 9th of 2025. And I understand that Cole Storer is here for well, if I haven't announced the case, we're here on BU 2022 TR 4048, State of Kansas versus Robert L. Lozano. Please announce appearances.
May it please the court, Cole Storer for the state.
Your Honor, Darren Patterson appearing on behalf of Robert Lozano. Mr. Lozano does appear personally from Courthouse Security 3 video station.
Okay, thank you. How does the defendant wish to proceed on this request for revocation, Mr. Patterson?
Judge, I understand the revocation is from December 2025. However, my appointments didn't get out till, well, I got 2 of them, one in June 1st and one July 6th. I'm not sure why 2, but June 1st, I think, is the one that would be more applicable. But I have had trouble getting a hold of Mr. Lozano. The order of appointment had 2 phone numbers listed on it. Those belong to 2 different people, not his. And I've asked Mr. Lozano about that. He gave me his current phone number or his phone number, which is different from those. So I'm not sure how those got on there. But after talking with him today, it appears that he has numerous documents to obtain and get to me to help in his case. So he is requesting a continuance to get me those documents. Some of them appear to be treatment records and other things that might be very important to the allegations contained here. So I am requesting a continuance.
Mr. Storer, your response to this request for continuance?
Your Honor, I don't object, but I would ask that Mr. Lozano report to probation after the hearing if the court grants the motion to continue.
And Judge, that's not a problem at all. My client will, but I would also tell the court he is on electronic monitoring. He does have a GPS unit, but he's also on weekly reporting over at Sedgwick County. So he is very well monitored right now. And so again, I think that something the court should know. Thank you.
Well, he's been, we've tried to get him in here since December of 25 to answer for violating his probation. Before you know it, it's going to be a year and he still hasn't addressed these allegations. So I'm not comfortable putting this off again. He's had since December to get with an attorney, to get that attorney whatever he needs. And
Judge, I don't want to particularly argue with the court, but my appointment was June 1st.
Well, that's because he delayed in getting around to asking for an attorney. He's brought all of this on himself. I understand you haven't had much time, but he has had. How much time do you need, Mr. Patterson?
My clients just tell me 1 week he can get the documents for me. I don't know, but I told him, of course, the court's calendar is much different from that.
Yeah, some people like to take advantage of my crowded docket. Not that I'm saying you are or that even he is at this point, but I do know that people do that. Destiny, when would be the next earliest date you could get this on for show cause? Could you do it? Well, just tell me when you could.
Well, in your honor, do we have any witnesses that we are going to need to subpoena? Is there anything, should I look for 30 days out or so?
Well, I think we're going to need Ryan Smith. You're the probation officer, right, Mr. Smith?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Because I can do July 15th. I have a spot open next week.
I'm available.
Available?
They'll be available.
Let's see what Mr. Smith has.
Your Honor, I am not going to be available that day.
Okay. What's the next available date?
The next one I have is the week after on July 22nd.
I'm available that one also.
I'm available that day, Your Honor.
That works for the state.
Mr. Lozano, any reason you can't be here that day?
No, I have court over there at July 16th, so I won't have anything on the 22nd. If I have a probation visit or counseling, I have treatment 3 times a week, but if it's for treatment.
This hearing highlighted how routine traffic and probation cases are managed while emphasizing due process, judicial discretion, and courtroom efficiency. The judge first organized the docket, confirmed which parties and attorneys were present, and addressed scheduling issues before moving into individual cases. One defendant, Ryan Brand, initially appeared ready for trial over an expired registration matter, but after discussions with the prosecutor and proof that the registration had been corrected, the state voluntarily dismissed the charge without prejudice. The judge reminded him that compliance with vehicle registration laws remains important and warned that future violations could result in the case being refiled. In another case, Sydney Leslie resolved her matter through a negotiated no-contest plea to reduced charges, receiving suspended jail sentences, fines, and 6 months of non-reporting probation, while other counts were dismissed under the agreement. The court also granted a continuance in Robert Lozano's probation revocation case to allow his attorney time to gather relevant records, but required him to remain compliant with probation conditions in return for a future hearing. Throughout the session, the judge carefully explained defendants' legal rights, verified that plea decisions were made voluntarily, and ensured that self-represented individuals understood the court process before any rulings were made.